So hey man, what's going on? We're working on the 66 today. This is our C30 1-ton pickup. It's actually sitting, it's a 66 truck, but it's sitting on like a 73 frame. And you see what we got here. For anybody that's new that hasn't seen it yet, see where we went through, widened out the tailgate on both sides, and up front there you can see where we widened out the front there. 7 inches on each side, and looky here, man, we're clearing the big old dually wheels. You see them here sticking inside the bed. I love the way it looks, all low down to the ground and widened out. This thing is looking awesome, but we got a little bit more work to do. And you know what? I'm kind of tired of working right now. I wanted to have a little bit of fun. I dreamed up a fun little project that I know most of y'all is going to be interested in. Now you notice right here, we took the step out, and some of you guys are like, hey man, why don't you put the step back in? Problem with the step is it comes all the way out and sticks out past the cab. So I suppose we could do a little trimming and make it work. Some of you guys want me to fill that area in with a cool smokestack with the flappers on it and all that. I'm down, man. I think that would look cool. We got this basketball goal here. I'm gonna drag this out from behind the shed. Check this out. Talk about recycling. I'm thinking smokestacks. I'm gonna go ahead and cut up some of this, see if we can't get it set up for our stacks. Okay, so here's one stack. Here's an exhaust tip we could put on the end of it, make it be something like that just to see what it looks like. Or, you know, we could always put the flappers on top. I love those, by the way. Those are my favorite. But we're gonna try this to see what this looks like, just to get an idea, you know, because I think it's gonna look killer, to be honest with you. Let me get some of these burrs out of here, my little reamer bit. Kind of hit it up with a little bit of sandpaper. When we get done, we'll grind all the welds down, and then we'll go back and repaint it again. Make it look pretty nice. Let's get a few tacks on it. Oh yeah, that's more like it right there. I think we got it. Getting these holes to line up a little bit better. Put this step back on. See about trimming it up, making it fit right. How about that? I don't know if y'all noticed, but this fender is actually kind of wrecked right here. You see where that's kind of all dented, pushed in. We kind of need to strap this thing to a tree and pull out on this. Can't do it right now. We don't even have the bed bolted on. So I'm just kind of pushing out on it. You see that there? Just pushing out on it and then tightening up the bolts with it being pushed out in hopes that maybe it'll kind of hold itself there a little bit. Okay, so a little sneak peek of what the pipes are going to look like. Now, some of you guys were thinking that we would use the stacks as a way to kind of fill in the step area. But as you can see, if we're going to go stacks, that's where I want them. I want them inside the bed. I think it looks better that way. Just a personal preference. No big deal. So that's just gonna leave us with the step situation, right? Now look at this. I got it all bolted on here, and look how we're sticking out way past the cab now. It's not a good look, I don't like it. The only thing I know to do is trim it back and see if we can't somehow take this part and then kind of stick it on there, recap it. Something, we gotta do something because this is not gonna work. So let's go ahead and trim it off. I got me a little tape line here, and we'll just take it from there, I guess. So I think what I want to do is I want to run me a little tape line right through here, about like that. What I'm trying to do on this is stay on top of these ribs. That way when we weld it back together, we could just grind right on top of there instead of having to get down inside the grooves there. See, if we put it down inside of there, man, that'd be a pain to try to grind that weld back off. So this will help us staying up here on top of the rib. Now basically all this is going away. Okay, that wasn't pretty to watch, I know, but it worked. All right, so here we go. That's what we're looking at right there, just like that. I'll have to do some banging on it. You guys, we're trying to get a wrecked up piece to fit together here, and we got to do a little banging on it, but you see what we're going for. That's basically what it will look like now, and it's even with the side and all of that, so I think that'll work. Well, we're moving some metal now. This is actually fitting together pretty dang good now. I'm going to clean off some of this metal, run us a few tack welds and see what we ended up with. About to get one of these clamped into place. I got these pretty cool clamps here. The way they work is you drop that down in between the two panels, and then it's got this little block that you pop in on the other side of it. You see here, it slides right through there, and then when you tighten this up, it just pulls itself up against the two panels, right? Holds the two together. So I'll get this all worked out and show you here in just a minute. We'll have a nice panel all clamped together. Works pretty good. But yeah, you see there? See how it's got the little gap right in between it? That's perfect. We'll fill that up with weld, and then when we come back and grind everything all nice and flush, it'll still have weld there. You see what I'm saying? So you won't have to worry about it breaking off or anything. Okay, now I can take that clamp out of the way. See there? That's not looking too shabby right there, nice and flush. Going together nice, y'all. Almost like it was just meant to be. Look at that. Look at our little mini step here. This is working out, man. I'm loving it. Okay, so we've got the step mocked up. It's even bolted on and everything. We're good to go there. We'll finish welding it up when we're done. There's one piece that I need to add to this to make it look right, because to me something's missing right now. You guys pardon the noise. I had to kick the heat on, man. It got a little chilly out here, but you can see this all looks great. That's all. Everything's acceptable until you get over here, and then we got this whole kind of empty space going on. So we need to fill that in. We need to drop this down to fill that space that used to be there back when the step came all the way out, right? So I went digging through my scrap and I found me a piece here. This is probably, I think it's about 18 gauge if I remember right. So you can bend it, it's pretty easy to bend, but yet stout enough that it will handle abuse and all of that. So I'm just gonna take this and just kind of form it with my hands, man. This is how easy this piece will be. So first thing, you know, you could do stuff like this with just simple hand tools. We just got some vice grip clamps, we got some big ones, some little ones, some pointy ones. We got a hammer, ball peen with a rounded tip. That comes in handy when you're trying to shape metal a lot of times. And then we got something with a pointed tip there. And then just your angle grinder with the cutoff blade on it. And I'm gonna show y'all just how simple stuff like this is. I mean, this involves a body line. We gotta wrap it around the inside to make that lip, right? We gotta curve it around and make it fit this shape, and then we need it to fit this shape too. And yet with all of that, this is gonna be done with simple tools, very crudely and very easily. I'm gonna show you. None of these pieces have a straight edge poking out on the bottom. They're all rolled over, and we want to mimic all of that. So I'm going to make sure to give myself enough material to accomplish all of those things, and that's what we got right here. That's our mark. You put this up here, and you'll see that I've got a little extra material poking up right here and a little bit extra down here as well. So let's go ahead and just get rid of all of that. I like to run me a piece of tape across, gives me a nice straight edge. I'm going to use my angle grinder to cut this off. You could actually use tin snips on this if you wanted to avoid all the sparks and such. I'm gonna go ahead and deburr the edges. This is an 80 grit disc, works really good, smoothing up all the edges so you don't cut yourself. Yeah, that's nice. That does a really good job. We'll see about clamping this piece into position. I want to make a mark right here so I could, this little body line here, I want to actually make it right into that so that that fits right up to it. So we'll just do that with a marker. We'll just run it right down through there. Now we got our shape. We can buzz that out of there, and those two pieces will actually fit together now. And again, you can do little stuff like this with your tin snips, but I'm going to go ahead and stick with the grinder. Once I get it pretty dang close, I'll take that little reamer bit on the end of my die grinder. Y'all see that there? That works pretty good. I'm not even sure if that's the right name for it. I call it a reamer bit because that's normally what I use it for, to ream out holes and make them bigger. When I get tired of drilling stuff and I dull my drill bits and all that, yeah, this guy comes out. But anyway, I'm gonna get in there and kind of get in there and just fine tune that a little bit, and it should fit right against that step. Nice. Boy, now we're getting somewhere. Let's check it out. Okay, so I think we got her figured out. Look at that, man. That fits nice all the way through. Now we can fold our edges over top and bottom. Before we do that, I want to clamp this into position. Let's get it back where it goes. About right there, I do believe. Just clamp that. And what I want to do is start kind of rolling it around, because we got a whole nother body line over here we got to make next. Yeah, we're going to fold this on around. Now it's going to want to run uphill on us, so we got to make sure it doesn't do that. It needs to stay down there straight like that. And then we're going to put us another clamp right over here near that body line, as close to it as we can get, about right there. So now we got it running around. It's fitting nice and tight. It goes into the concave of our body line. And now we're running out here. Obviously, we got a little problem here. The tire's in the way. That's too much hanging out there anyway, so we'll just trim it right off. How about that? Where's my saw? Oh, here we go. You guys are hiding it behind y'all over there, huh? I'm thinking, see, I've already got a reference mark here. I'm gonna go just outside of that. Keep as much as I can while still allowing it to go up in there with that tire. I suppose you could pull the wheel off, but we ain't doing all that. See how easy that was? And we're gonna go on around. Remember, I told you all this was gonna be crude. So simple. Something like this is really easy. If you find yourself in a situation, just put your other clamp on. Clamp this right here on the face of that body line, right where it's about to fold over that edge. You see what I mean, how we're in that concave now. Now we're gonna come right out here where we're about to fold over the edge, make us another clamp so that it holds it nice and tight. And then we should be able to go ahead and roll our edge over. Now this will take a little massaging with the hammer. You see how we're already starting to form our line. We'll fold this on around. Most of it will be done by hand. We'll come in, we'll tap a little bit on it with a hammer because I want to continue. You guys see this body line? We want to kind of continue that on down, right? Both sides. So some of that will take a little massaging with the hammer. That's fine. But look, we are clamped in, holding our shape. So I'm gonna set you guys down for a minute, and we'll do a little bit of some banging around on this thing. And what I'm doing is I'm using this hammer kind of as what they call a dolly. I've got dollies, but I said we're going to use basic stuff, so I didn't figure I'd throw the dolly at you. It's just a big chunk of metal you hold in your hand while you bang with the other hand, but you can use a sledgehammer too. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and roll that up in there. Can you guys see our body line starting to form already? Going around that edge, pretty cool. Just lightly tap in here and there. You don't have to beat the crap out of it. In fact, if you were to put a little bit of heat on this, maybe a little torch, it would just fold like butter. Even easier. All right, so I went through with my Sharpie and kind of drew some reference marks for the body line. Yeah, while I still had it all clamped up. Here's my body line. Just went through and just drew this side of it and then this side of it. That's the high points. That's this side and then this side. And then in here, that'll be the concave part. So now that we've got everything heading in the right direction, I should be able to unclamp this bad boy. Get off of there. All right. We'll go ahead and kind of roll this. I'm gonna use my leg. We'll just roll this bad boy right on over. Should be just fine. All right, so we'll bring our piece over here to the vise. It's got a nice little hard and flat surface there, and what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take, since this has a rounded end on it there, the old ball peen, we're gonna set it on here, and I'm gonna go through here and kind of tap around in this area. This is the concave area leading up to that sharper body line. Need to kind of smooth it out a little bit and make it a little more roundy. You can see where we kind of pecked on it with the pointed body hammer to kind of get it started, and now I want to come through and just kind of smooth it out a little bit. And no worries, when we're done, we'll finish it all up with that grinder I showed you earlier with that 80 grit disc on it. Man, it'll get any little imperfections that are left behind out of it. See where it's making a nice little round shape there? I mean, it's forming, it's giving us that little divot we're wanting. Let me see if I could get this one folding over. So we've got it started at the top because we're actually it's overlapping the fender, right? It's overlapping, so we get to form it to this top edge. The bottom edge is a little more difficult because you're not laying against anything, so that's why I use my body hammers, my dollies, whatever, and we pull against it, bang on it the other way, and it will start to fold over on the bottom as well. I'll keep going with this, and then we'll pull it out and we'll do a little bit more over on the bench. That's where we can really kind of get in there and fine tune it. Pull out on this a little bit more. Where'd my hammer go? Got all these hammers laying around. pull out on that some more. I don't want this area to be rounded. I need it to be flat while this folds over, obviously. But you can see we're getting body lines all over the place, y'all. So it is taking shape. And the best part is we ain't got but maybe 10 minutes into it so far, and we just damn near got it. We are starting to get pronounced body lines. I think this would be a good time to go over and check our progress. Make sure that we are still heading in the right direction. Looks can be deceiving. I mean, you think you got it, and you get over there like, oh my God. Man, you can see that looks pretty dang good. I didn't bring my hammers with me, but what I would probably do is go ahead and fold that on around up inside of there, get a mark so that we could trim it where it needs to be trimmed. And then all that's really left is to fold the bottom edge over. Alrighty, so there's my fold over line. Let's get this unclamped and see if we can't fold that edge over. There's our fold over line right there. I'm going to put some relief cuts in there since this is actually going to be going around a corner. Make it a lot easier to fold over that way. Let's get this positioned just right. We'll get us a tack weld started. I think it probably about right there ought to get it. Let's try it. Let's see. Nailed it. Man, sometimes you just can't win. Well, I guess we should probably try that again. What do you think? This is everything. You see the slits there, that just makes it where we could fold that on around. So now what I want to do is I want to go through and actually weld all that back up. We'll grind it all nice and smooth. That'll give it its strength back, so don't skip that step. Go back, spend some time welding all that back together. I went ahead and welded it to the fender. That way it's got the shape, man. That's exactly, I mean, it's locked in. That's where it needs to be. And then now I can go through and do the bottom and we'll be good to go. That piece, y'all, like I said, was just made by hand, just using hammers and dollies. Nothing out of the extraordinary, nothing that you can't do yourself. Even if it's your first try, I promise you, you could come up with something every bit as good as that right there. Little skim coat of filler will make it perfect. For our project, we probably won't even go that far with it. If we make it to look too nice, it'll stick out. So we want it to kind of blend in. We may not get too carried away. I wanted you to see the pipe situation. I think that's what I'm going to go with. I don't want it sticking up too high. I want it to be kind of flush with the top. That's kind of the way I am. I like everything to be kind of tucked in. I don't want anything sticking out all crazy. That's why I decided to go inside the bed instead of outside of the bed. I suppose maybe we could have removed this box for the sideboards, you know, and maybe ran our pipe up the side and all of that, but I didn't want anything sticking out past this roof line here. I want everything to be kind of tucked in to where when you look at it from the front, you just barely see a little pipe sticking up, you know? I think that looks cool. Look at it like that. You just barely see it there. I just think that's great. And then you get around over to the side and go, oh, dude, look at that. So anyway, you look at it from the back, this will be our other pipe here. So no worries, we're doing both sides. We're not going to go one side. Remember, I gotta have both sides match. It's just kind of a weird thing with me. I can never have a spare tire on one side, not the other. We either gotta have no spare tires or 2 spare tires. Same thing with the exhaust. We've either gotta have both of them or none of them. So we're gonna do the next side over here. We already got our pipe ready. I'm gonna show you guys. I'll walk y'all through the process like I always do. We'll get in here first. We're gonna notch all of this out so that it fits in there nice and tight. Like I said, I didn't want it sticking out here and then having this big old gap between it. I think that over there is very acceptable and is gonna work out great. And I do actually have plans of possibly putting a headache rack on here that I think would kind of tie in with our work truck theme. Think about it, some cool ass bed rails coming down the side made out of some big bulky pipe coming into a nice headache rack that'll come right in between the stack and the cab, fill in that little area, which I think looks fine just the way it is. But if that bothers you too much, we could go headache rack and that problem would be solved. Just some more ideas that we could kick around a little bit, but for right now, let's finish up what we got going on, because once this is in place, it is time to actually tie it in with the exhaust system and see what it sounds like. I'm sorry, y'all. My welder's rude, and she likes to just pop into scenes every now and then and kind of steal the show. I'll edit that part out. We'll just go over there and turn it off, but you don't want to shut those things off in the middle of a cooling cycle. There she goes. She must have heard me over here talking bad about her. She figured I better shut off. He's going to come unplug me. So let's get this notched out. I'm just using a spare piece of pipe as a pattern so I know how much to cut out. So yeah, this cut right here was rather tricky. This is a rolled over edge. It started off as a flat piece, and we made this to widen out the bed. You guys remember, y'all seen it, but in case you didn't, that's what this is. And now I've got to get in here and I got to cut this, and then it goes all the way down underneath here and it ends right there. So we got to cut all of this out. The way I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of sneak up on it with my cutoff wheel there, and then we will trim it back up when we're done with a different tool. So I've got it cut open now. I'm gonna pry this down. Something like that. Yeah, you see what I mean? It's a tube there. So we will take my air hammer. We'll put it down the side of there and see if we can't pop the welds loose now. Success. Okay, we're off to a good start. Now I'm going to dress up the hole with this guy. So we got the hole trimmed out. Let's cut our next piece of pipe. Well, I think we've got it headed in the right direction. So now that we see those stacks on there, man, I can't wait to get them hooked up. Let's come out here and look at some of my old scrap pipe. This is stuff I've had for years sitting out here left over from my body shop days. I got a whole bunch of this stuff, y'all. We got every kind of bend and exhaust tip and size and everything you could possibly imagine. I got a bunch of it laid out over here. I've been kind of sorting through it to see what I could use, and I think I've got it figured out. I think I'm going to take this one right here on the end. We'll take this one, we'll cut this piece off on both sides. That'll get us our elbows coming out of the muffler. And then let's see, what else did I figure out? I got another piece of, oh yeah, this one. I think we'll take this one and we'll cut these pieces off the end and have those elbows with a straight piece in between them. I think we ought to be able to get from the mufflers over to those smokestacks just fine. What do y'all think? So yeah, back when I worked in the body shop, the insurance companies would replace entire exhaust systems just for having a tiny little ding on the end of the exhaust tip. It was crazy. They just tossed them in the trash and replaced new ones. Never mind the fact that it was like $1,500. They didn't care. That's just what they did. So I collected this stuff over the years, and I make good use of this stuff, y'all. Now I'm going to cut the whole elbow off, and then we'll do that in too. Get both of them off of this muffler, and then we'll switch over here and get those ones off too. Luckily, those exhaust tips actually come off pretty easy. They just got a couple little welds on them. We'll put those over to the side. Look at all these exhaust tips we got now. Number 4 of those things. I'm going to go ahead and cut this other. This is the last one when you cut it off. And then these hangers that are on here, I think I might actually be able to repurpose those. So I'm going to go ahead and leave those on. Ordinarily, I'd grind those and get them off so we could add new ones. But I think we might be getting lucky. We'll find out in a minute. That might be exactly where we need it. I hate it when that happens. Hey, I think we might be done though. So this is what I've got figured out. Got this piece here. It's got that exhaust hanger there on the end of it. And that's lining up pretty dang good with our cross member. We might be able to actually use that, or maybe we could hang it off the side of the frame or something. But you see how that just comes right out of there. That shoots it straight over here to our smokestack, where we would pick up with this piece, put these two together, and all we need is just one more straight piece to go in between these two, and we got it, man, just like that. So I did manage to get one side hooked up. Everything is tacked into place. I think I'm going to put a clamp right in this area here. Yeah, we're going to have to cut it and make it where we could clamp it together right there. That way we could take it apart and service it. Can't just weld all this stuff up together permanently. We got to have a way to take this thing apart later to get the bed back off or whatever you need to do. But I do have one side ironed out. I've got all the pieces cut for the other side. But you know what? I'm going to save that for the next video. Yeah, I'm going to leave you hanging. We'll have to wait until the next one to actually hear this thing fire up, see what it sounds like. I think it's going to sound friggin' awesome. This thing's going to sound so good, we're going to have to actually get in there and make it run right. It needs a carburetor rebuild. It's got a 2-barrel on it. I want to do a 4-barrel swap. I'd like to put a mild little racing cam in it, have something kind of crunchy with these 2 pipes sticking out. I think it'd be amazing. So definitely plenty left to do on this one, and we need to get some of these other ones back in here. I need to get that Fury back in here and mess with it a little bit for you guys. I know y'all missed that one. So, but it ain't went nowhere. I don't get rid of nothing. Well, let's go ahead and put our step back on, and let's step back and look at this thing and admire our handiwork, right? And now the step actually makes sense. It doesn't stick out too far. It's even with the cab. And then, of course, we got our filler piece there, kind of tying everything together. That way it doesn't look like anything's missing. It just looks like a truck with a dually fender on it. You see that from the side? How the fender just kind of sticks out a little bit? I mean, that's what a dually does right there. I just thought it was going to look goofy having the step stick out with it. I mean, you have to agree, if this step was still sticking out here like this, like it was, it just would have looked funny looking. So having that narrowed up does make a huge difference, I think. And it just kind of makes it look more factory, like it was just made that way. And the best part is, I mean, it's still a step. You could definitely step up on there, no problem at all. But these pipes, though, that's a bit over the top, man. I love it. I know some of y'all wanted flappers. That's cool. I love flappers, by the way. That's probably what I'll end up doing before it's all said and done. But this is all I had for now. I had to get them on here. I had to see how this looked. Gives it kind of a mean look, doesn't it? Gives it a little attitude. And having the pipes kind of shorter like that, where it just kind of comes even with the roof line there, it just kind of fits in with its low stance. You know, everything is really low on this. Everything is tucked in. We don't have anything sticking out past fenders or anything. So I just want to keep everything just kind of tight little package. You know what I mean? Oh, and by the way, we don't have any money into this. This is another one of those free projects. We tend to specialize in that around here. In case you missed it at the beginning of the video, those started off as a basketball goal. And now we're making art with it. That's what I think. This is an art form. Wait till we get it all welded together and fired up. You'll be thinking we're out here making music too. I can't wait to hear it. I think it's going to sound awesome. And it's really cold outside, so we're going to actually get to see steam coming out of those pipes on a cold morning. I can't wait, man. I got to hurry and get this thing done. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, man. I'm going to finish welding this up. I'm going to get you guys another video out right quick, so no worries there. And we're going to actually get to hear this thing fire up and run on the next video. I appreciate everybody following along with me on this. It's been a lot of fun. I wanted to do something kind of fun with it. We've been doing a lot of suspension work, lowering this thing down, going through brakes. And you know what? That stuff gets kind of old after a while, and you just want to get in there and try to weld some stuff together, see what you come up with. And that's what we came up with so far. I think it's going to work. I think it's awesome. Did I mention it was free? That's the best part. But anyway, I'm going to get on out of here, you guys. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to see y'all next time.